Very strong, very southern.
But basically, I think much like the startup community in Austin, the thing that makes it so different is the collaboration and the sort of the community behind it. You'll go to shows, and I was at a Saints of Ari show the other day, and there were probably 8 to 10 other bands represented, all there to support, and they all come out and they all support each other. They collaborate, and Zilly's collaborated with everyone in town, and everyone's sort of working together. It's this great community, and it's just like I said, the startup community is the same. But I've lived in different cities all over the world, and I've never seen anything like that sort of the camaraderie that's in the music community here.
So the only person that physically got called out in that quote, though, was Tom. ACL Live. What do you say, Tom?
Wow.
And I say this in the Tom is like, ACL fucking rocks, So, Tom, tell us why he's wrong.
I think he's right. No, I don't. It speaks to the emotional impact of music, though. If I'm in Austin in the 70s, hell yeah, I think Armadillo World Headquarters is the greatest venue that's ever been. I came to Austin in the 80s, so when I saw the Replacements in 1988 at Liberty Lunch, it was the best venue that ever lived. And for my daughter, the Mohawk is the best venue that ever lived. And I think, to your point, like, duh, it's like, when you hit your musical peak, when it becomes yours, you own that moment forever. And I think growth is growth, and people are gonna, look back nostalgically and say, oh, it was better then, but then we won't have, growth. So I think the article was just kind of silly.
Well, and Lewis Black's retort was very almost no, it wasn't that angry. I mean, he was very contained in his way he addressed it, but I like the way he ended it, where he said, I can't imagine any Austin-based publication that would waste 6,000 words dissing another Texas city. Right.
And then he says, we've got better things to do.
Right. We have more to worry about. Right. Absolutely.
One more point that I think is different from the 70s, 80s. We have the whole world come to our town twice a year. South by Southwest and the ACL Festival. All these great bands come through, and when they park in Austin, they want to be here for a little while. And conversely, all the Austin bands get this cross-pollination going, and they're checking out the Brooklyn bands and the Portland bands and the Minneapolis bands and so on. So I think it's just natural that you're going to have this greater diversity of music, and the sound is not going to be so siloed. It's going to become,
It's not a vacuum anymore.
Yeah,
right.
not at all.
Absolutely.
Well, and if you talk to any of those bands, the ones that come to Austin, they truly enjoy being here. Like, they don't want to stay, they don't want to leave, they want to keep their tour around here. They always look for the opportunities to come down. I mean, I talk with them all the time, and they really do love our city. I don't talk to that many of those musicians that also go through Houston and Dallas, and I don't mean to compare, but they're not coming back to me going, man, Houston has got such a great music scene, and the vibe of the city was awesome, and everybody really wants to interact.
I love your life.
And people love Houston, so no judgments on Houston. It's a different city. It's for a different vibe. If you want this kind of, if you're expecting Austin to stay this let's get naked, smoke a joint, hippie vibe, there are places where that culture still lives, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? That's where we started, so let's not forget our roots. But, forget it. I mean, this guy's going on a rant just because we're not still walking around barefoot and smoking weed and hanging out with loose women. That's literally his whole entire argument. Yeah. People can still do it, and that's awesome. I think that's awesome. But we're also new.
Only Willie can say it.
Yeah.
He's the only one allowed to. Okay, so I want to take some of your questions. While you are making your way here to the microphone that I believe is on in the center, I'll go ahead and broach one from the web, from Twitter. Web music guy is Brendan from Receptive. Where's Brendan? Hi, Brendan. He asks about this middle class of artists. Does this mean more noise? Who will rise as the taste makers?
Our guy, or like the producer, who's kind of like the gatekeeper, and I think I agree with you that it is kind of like a good role because it keeps a lot of crap out. Because I don't know, I feel like we're swimming in a lot of mediocrity right now, and that sucks. But why? And maybe you do think this, but why don't you think that someone like Paul or even Paul himself will step up into that role and kind of be that gatekeeper, or do you think that maybe someone will do that?
I don't have a problem with that if Paul ends up being a gatekeeper. I think the point that I was trying to make was, when it's too easy and there aren't barriers to entry, we're not quite pushed, and therefore we don't really achieve the kind of, you know, special greatness that can happen. I mean, if you go into a gym by yourself and you're lifting some weights and you're like, all right, you know, that was pretty good. If you got someone there saying you could do 3 more, then you might do 3 more. And if you have, you know, a really big dude screaming at you, you can do 5 more. You'll do 5 more, and you'll see a bigger benefit. And there's I see the same kind of thing in music right now, and I work with artists, and you know, they're just, this is good, it's done. And I just recorded it yesterday, and I want it out tomorrow. There's something about taking that song and living with it, and going out on the road with it, and playing it in front of people, and getting some feedback. And if there's someone who you truly respect, who is really trying to bring the most out of you, I think special things can happen. So, you know, and yes, there's a lot of mediocrity out there, but I think there's also a lot of amazing stuff out right now. There really is. One source that hasn't come up tonight that I think is something that people might want to investigate is Mog, kind of similar to Audio, but I think they do a really, really great job of, first of all, you can listen to it's a subscription-based service. You can listen to anything you want, anytime you want. You can download a song and tether it to your phone, so that even when you're not online, you can listen to music. You know, I try to listen to as much music as possible doing what I do, and every week all the new releases are there, plus their editors' picks are really good. Then you can see playlists from favorite artists and stuff like that. It's you know, a great discovery tool for your question about, you know, discovery. You know, I think that's kind of a future model that is legitimate. Artists are getting paid, people are discovering music, and it's really convenient. And then for people that want to go get the DVD director's cut, you know, that's still out there too. So you dip a toe in the water with an artist, you get to listen to them, and you say, hey, I really like these guys, and then, you know, you dive in deeper and go see their show, or, you know, book them, play your television show, you know, that kind of stuff.
One thing that's really kind of getting lost in the whole digital age of music, and like you're giving away all your music for free, is like, you know, I don't know how many albums I bought where I actually paid $15 for it, and I didn't like it the first 3 times I listened to it, you know? And then, you know, the 4th time I listened to it, I'm like, oh my God, I love this thing, you know, it clicks. And when you download an album for free, or even digital copy, you know, it's like, it's disposable. It's so much easier just to delete off your hard drive and just get rid of. And like you're saying, you know, you actually have to work at your craft, and I think a lot of that's getting lost in this whole digital age where, you know, everything's just becoming more disposable, and it's kind of sad, you know.
I think the most destructive thing to this whole mediocrity problem has been that just because there is availability to do all this yourself doesn't mean that everyone should. You know, like there's this advice that because we have social media now that every artist can do this on their own, and they should. That's totally not the case. You know, this is not, I mean, not everyone should. You can't be a social media expert just because it's available and free. It's not free. It takes time. It takes expertise. It takes knowledge. It takes constant experimentation. It takes a lot of work. It's not easy for us to share our music just because we can share it. It's easy just to have it and blast it out there and just take a megaphone and hope it's going to reach some ears. But, I mean, the way to curate that direct-to-fan relationship and the way to get them to care about you and really actually want to help you, that's an art that requires a lot of work. And to get your music to be good enough that someone won't just dispose of it and delete off your hard drive, takes a lot of work. I mean, it's all not free, and it's not easy. There's still going to be people who need the help and need the professional touch, and the ones that can fight through it, that can do all the work and invest all the time and the money on their own, and also be a really good band. Hopefully, that's what Audio Runner will be. We're the ones who are going to be like these great case studies, but unfortunately, it might usher in this day where everyone just thinks because they're an artist, they should just go out and blast it, make all their music for free, and I don't preach that at all. You know, you need to know what you're doing, and you need to take a lot of time to do it. It takes a lot of investment.
So I'm being given the sign, and we've run out of time. I'm sorry we didn't get to all your questions, but maybe if you use the hashtag, and I tweeted all the Twitter names of the guys on the panel, maybe they can respond to you via Twitter. But I want to thank the panel. This was really an interesting discussion.